What if everything we thought we knew about Tupac's death was a lie? Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, claims the Las Vegas shooting wasn't the end at all, but the beginning of one of the greatest escapes in music history. He says Tupac outsmarted Diddy, vanished into the shadows, and may still be alive today. But here's the twist. Gene admits that by telling this story, he's putting his own life on the line. So, what secret did Tupac leave behind, and why was Diddy desperate to silence him? For years, Diddy walked through New York and Hollywood like he was untouchable. The parties, the money, the artists he controlled, he looked like a king sitting on top of hip hop. But that image shattered in May 2025 when his criminal trial officially opened in Manhattan. Federal prosecutors laid out accusations of trafficking, violence, and cover ups, putting Diddy in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. What makes this even more shocking is how closely his name has been tied to one of the darkest nights in hip hop, the 1996 Las Vegas shooting of Tupac Shakur. To this day, whispers follow Diddy's name, with fans and insiders asking if he played a bigger role in Tupac's disappearance than anyone admitted. But here's the twist. The loudest voice exposing him isn't a lawyer or a journalist. It's his former bodyguard, Gene Deal. Gene Deal isn't just some outsider throwing wild accusations. He was in the room, standing just steps away from Diddy during the height of Bad Boy's reign. And now, almost 3 decades later, he's breaking the silence. Gene insists Tupac wasn't blindsided in Las Vegas. He saw the betrayal coming. According to him, Tupac had already laid out an escape plan, turning what looked like a fatal ambush into a carefully orchestrated vanishing act. What makes Gene's claims even harder to ignore is how consistent he's been. Interview after interview, he repeats the same story, each time hinting at details that suggest he knows more than he's letting on. And the risk? Huge. He's admitted openly that by talking about this, he's putting himself in danger. But why would Gene Deal risk everything now, after years of silence? The night of September 7th, 1996 was supposed to seal Tupac's fate, but the details from Las Vegas never quite added up. The autopsy report listed the wrong height and weight, sparking immediate suspicion. Then came the cremation, so rushed that even family members were stunned, handled by a cremator who later vanished without a trace. And when a grainy photo surfaced showing Tupac without his iconic tattoos, fans were convinced something was off. These strange details don't look like mistakes, they look like clues. Was the Vegas shooting a setup for Tupac to disappear, not die? And if so, where did he go? If Tupac really staged his disappearance, Cuba would have been the perfect place to run. Rumors suggest Fidel Castro himself approved safe haven, and the connection makes sense. Tupac's family had Panther roots. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was a former Black Panther, and his aunt, Asada Shakur, had already escaped to Cuba in 1984, where she still lives under political asylum. One name that keeps surfacing is Michael Neese, a former security officer who claimed he helped smuggle Tupac out, first to Barbados, then on to Havana. His story sent shockwaves online, until he mysteriously disappeared in 2018, silencing the one man who swore he had proof. If those rumors are true, it means Tupac wasn't just hiding. He was protected. Even decades later, the sightings haven't stopped. Locals in Havana whisper about a man who looks uncannily like Tupac, strolling the streets in sunglasses and a bandana. Others claim to have glimpsed him in Barbados, and even as far as Newark, New Jersey. Grainy images circulate online, some appearing next to stars like Beyoncé or 50 Cent, so blurry they can be dismissed, yet compelling enough to keep the mystery alive. Fans point to posthumous albums that sound too fresh, almost as if Tupac never stopped recording. Every clip, every album fuels speculation. If he's alive, Why remain hidden for nearly 30 years? And the answer may lie in survival. Staying out of sight meant safety, but also isolation. Each day in hiding reinforced the mystery, turning Tupac into both observer and legend. So, why would Tupac stay hidden for decades? The reasons are as chilling as they are strategic. First, Diddy allegedly placed a bounty worth millions on his head, even after the Vegas shooting, leaving no corner of America truly safe. Then there's the political side. Cuba demanded absolute secrecy to protect their sanctuary, and Tupac had to comply. Exile came with its own price. Stripped of the roar of the crowd, the adrenaline of the stage, every day became a test of endurance. The charismatic poet of the 90s may have been transformed into a silent observer, sharpening instincts born from paranoia and distrust. Decades of blending into the shadows, watching the world without participating, could have reshaped Tupac entirely. The fire fans remember. It may now burn slower, steadier, like a relentless ember, hidden but unextinguished. Would we even recognize him today, after all these years of survival in the shadows? The irony is almost poetic. Diddy may have believed he had erased his greatest rival, thinking the Vegas ambush had permanently removed Tupac from the scene. For decades, he paraded wealth, power, and influence, calling himself king of the music world, while federal investigations quietly circled, probing allegations of coercion, trafficking, and intimidation. But what if Tupac had been watching the whole time, unseen and unchallenged, quietly observing every move from the shadows? Rumors now suggest that Tupac didn't just vanish. He may have built a hidden archive of tapes, recordings, and written accounts documenting secrets that could obliterate Diddy's legacy if ever released. Every album, every lyric, every word might have been part of a coded survival plan designed to endure long after the lights of fame dimmed, and the timing couldn't be more critical. With Diddy's criminal trial concluding and the verdict delivered on July 2nd, 2025, he was found guilty on some charges but acquitted on the more severe sex trafficking and racketeering counts. While the world watched the courtroom drama, whispers resurfaced online and in underground circles. What if Tupac had been manipulating events from afar all along? Gene Deal's revelations add fuel to the fire. He insists Tupac anticipated the betrayal, understood the stakes, and turned the entire scenario to his advantage. In this version of history, Diddy's perceived victory is hollow. The man he thought he destroyed might have been executing a long game, waiting for the exact moment to reveal the truth, striking when it would hit hardest. Imagine it. Diddy, once untouchable, now facing scrutiny and collapse, while Tupac, possibly alive, has the ultimate leverage. The empire built on intimidation, glamour, and billion-dollar branding suddenly appears fragile, vulnerable to exposure. The very confidence that allowed Diddy to dominate the industry may have been the same thing that forced him into a hollow triumph, a victory that never truly existed. If Tupac steps back into the spotlight today, what happens next? Does Diddy's empire crumble instantly, or does the world rally behind a legend who outsmarted them all? Could decades of secrets finally come to light, reshaping the story of hip hop forever? The stage is set, and the suspense is unbearable. Every rumor, every sighting, every whispered account builds to the same haunting question. Is the man who was declared gone actually still out there, waiting for the perfect moment to reclaim his place in history? If you think Tupac is alive and ready to return, comment below with your theories. And don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on every twist in this story that refuses to die. Gene Deal's revelations paint a picture that challenges everything we thought we knew about Tupac Shakur. According to Deal, Tupac anticipated betrayal and used it to his advantage, turning his stage persona into a survival manual. The Vegas shooting, rather than being the tragic end, might have been the opening act of a carefully orchestrated disappearance. Every detail, from the rushed cremation to the inconsistencies in official records, suddenly starts to make sense as pieces of an elaborate puzzle. For nearly 3 decades, Tupac may have lived in exile, watching the world evolve without him, observing from the shadows while his legend grew larger than life. The posthumous albums, the grainy sightings, the whispers online, they all hint at a life hidden in plain sight. Exile demanded invisibility, but it also honed him, sharpening instincts, cultivating patience, and transforming him into someone unrecognizable to the public eye. And now, with Diddy's empire faltering under legal scrutiny and with insiders like Gene Deal speaking out, the possibility of Tupac's return becomes more than just speculation. It feels imminent. Could he emerge to expose those who thought they controlled him? Could decades of secrecy, planning, and survival culminate in a revelation so shocking it would rewrite hip hop history and shake the very foundations of those who once wielded power over him? The stakes are higher than ever. If Tupac does appear, it won't just be a musical comeback. It would be a cultural earthquake, a reckoning for Diddy and anyone who believed they had the upper hand. Gene Deal's courage in telling this story risks his life, but it also ensures the world hears a narrative that challenges reality itself. Do you believe Tupac is still out there, alive and watching? Or is this the ultimate legend that will never be proven? Drop your theories in the comments. And if you want to stay on top of every secret, every twist, and every revelation waiting in the shadows, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because this story is far from over.